My name is Kunal Sharma and I live in New Jersey. This whole incident was a shocker for us because this has really got so many people trapped into it. And the smart way they have been doing it, it is really unbelievable and quite scary as well at the same time.
Kunal's talking of a problem that a lot of us have faced in the last couple of months: WhatsApp calls from anonymous international numbers.
So, this happened last Monday, and I was in New York City with my wife, and we were having lunch. And I just got a message.
From what seemed to be a WhatsApp group of restaurateurs in the city. Kunal had been removed from the group. It prompted him to enter a PIN to re-enter that group. And Kunal wasn't even aware of this group. But he entered the PIN anyway. The screen refreshed, and Kunal put aside his phone and completely forgot about it. But then,
Next day morning, about 4 to 4:30 a.m. in the morning while I was sleeping, I got a call from India from one of my cousins saying that, Kunal, you got the transfer done. So I said, what kind of transfer? I got the message from my cousin that they have transferred 1 lakh rupees to the account. Then I said that I have not requested for anything like that, and I'm sleeping right now. I have not even talked to anybody. So she sent me the screenshots, and on those screenshots, my WhatsApp DP was there, which was the existing one, and my name reflected on his phone. And it was like very normal conversation. But then when he looked into the phone number was different. It was a US phone number through which they texted. But when like it was a normal conversation, as the friends and family number saved to your WhatsApp, and if somebody texts you, you will just receive their image, the DP, and the name. You will not get the phone number which has been saved into your phone. So that's the same thing happened to him. And he asked that, is everything okay? He said, no, I'm trying to transfer some money to somebody's account. It is something urgent and I'm not able to do it from here. Can you transfer from India? Because it was an Indian account with the PAN number and everything. So he said that how much? He said 1 lakh rupees. So he gave to my brother the name of the person, bank name, IFSC code, and the PAN details. So he transferred the money immediately thinking that, early morning in US, I'm in trouble in sending money to somebody. Let me help him out. And he transferred the money immediately. And then after half an hour, he again sent a message, can you transfer 5 lakh rupees more? And that's when it struck to his mind that let me call him, that what emergency happened that he needs so much of money within a span of this time. If everything is all right, he called me. Then I said that, oh, this is something which has gone wrong and this is a fraud.
Kunal tried to alert as many people as he could, but his uncle too fell into the trap. He could never reach the number the call came from, and he didn't know what legal recourse he would have. In the last couple of months, most of us have got incessant calls, video calls, and texts, mainly from business accounts. From my conversations with people, I collated a list of countries they're coming from. Look at your blocked list and match the country code and see if you got them too. So there have been calls from Indonesia, which is +61, Vietnam, which is +84, Malaysia, which is +60, Kenya, which is +254, and Ethiopia, which is +251. The calls include either job opportunities or quick ways to make money, or lurid texts and sometimes videos. So why are we getting them? Who's behind all of this? How are WhatsApp business accounts being used so easily? Is it similar to previous hoax calls and scams? What legal recourse do we have? And what should the government and these platforms do to tackle this menace? We discuss all that in this episode. We have with us the Survey Samaritan, Sachin Taparia, and cybersecurity champ, Kanish Gaur, to tell us how WhatsApp has become the perfect breeding ground for scamsters. So it's going to be a power-packed episode and definitely not a conversation you want to mute. It's Thursday, May 25th. I'm your host, Diya Rekhi, and you are listening to the WhatsApp Con Call on the morning brief from the Economic Times. Local circles did a recent survey on this problem, and the results were stunning. Here's its founder, Sachin Taparia.
We got hundreds of posts and comments within a matter of a few days saying that people are receiving these audio and video calls from numbers that they do not recognize. And that's when we kind of administered this survey, reaching out to people from across India, tier 1 districts, tier 2, tier 3, and even rural districts, to understand if it is Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad metro phenomena, or is it something that is prevalent across the country. We got 23,000 responses from citizens across the country. And basically, what we found was that 83% of the respondents were getting these phone calls from unknown numbers. And 46% of them had said that suddenly, over the last 3 to 4 weeks, there has been a major spike. When we asked people, where are these calls coming from? 53% of the cases, basically, people said that they were coming primarily from international numbers. So that kind of established for us that there has been a rise in WhatsApp spam calls. The other thing that has actually started is, in addition to these calls, after WhatsApp announced that they have implemented some artificial intelligence and machine language, what we did see was an uptick in messages as opposed to audio and video calls.
And why is it that business accounts are the ones hoarding users with these calls and messages? Here's Sachin again, explaining how this is rooted in a little tweak in WhatsApp's privacy policy that we may have missed.
From the time when WhatsApp came out and said they are updating their privacy policy and everybody has to accept, this was late 21, then early part of 22, we have been studying this subject. And one of the consents that we've all given is the fact that if we as a user are chatting or exchanging WhatsApps with a WhatsApp business account, then WhatsApp has the right to present to them advertisements or content based on their chat on other meta platforms, which is Facebook and Instagram. What we are also finding is a new form of advertising, which is called click to WhatsApp. So if you are a marketeer or an advertiser, you can send your ad to Facebook and Instagram, but you can also choose to send it to WhatsApp users.
And if you thought that was all, Sachin has more in store. Here's what he's working on in his next survey, which is coming out soon.
So one of the things that we want to study as part of the next survey is that are some of these ads coming through the route of marketing and advertising being done by brands or users, and could that lead to somebody using the service and reaching out to a set of consumers or WhatsApp members to WhatsApp business accounts? Because that will lead to us understanding whether this is part of a paid exercise that some of these so-called scamsters are essentially conducting. And are they using meta platforms and WhatsApp and other platforms for this outreach?
From surveys to stats, here are some numbers for you to digest. WhatsApp has nearly 500 million users in India alone. That's more than the population of the UK, France, Italy, Turkey, Spain, Argentina, and Germany combined. Yep, you can take a moment to let that sink in while I serve you another interesting stat. Truecaller's 2021 Global Spam and Scam Report said that over 202 million spam calls were made by just one spammer in India. Yeah, one spammer. That's over 664,000 people that were disturbed by spam calls every day. and 27,000 people every hour from just one phone number. It truly makes you wonder how telecom operators even allow this kind of call volume. But I'm no expert. So why should I give you the lowdown on spam, scams, cybersecurity and fraud when we have Kanishk Gaur with us? Thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Brief, Kanishk. So what is really leading to this spike in spam calls?
Yes. So I think the number of users of WhatsApp has increased in India. If you look at today, there are close to 487 million users of WhatsApp, which is the biggest across the world. Given the rapid increase in the number of users of WhatsApp and the way we communicate on WhatsApp, there has been a rapid increase in terms of business conversations. So the cyber criminals who have been active for a very long time found it a lucrative proposition to target masses. So these cyber criminals have started targeting common man, people who are seeking jobs for part-time or freelancing jobs via WhatsApp messaging. So that's been the change that we have seen recently.
Not just that, scamsters are also adopting other lurid ways of scamming innocent victims.
Where people have got video calls from spammers, and then if somebody picks up the call, they are lured into any kind of a sleazy video and they take screenshots, and then they threaten that they will make this public, they will make the video public unless you don't pay. And people have ended up paying tremendous amount of money. And this not just happened with common man, it has happened with celebrities, it has happened with sitting member of parliament, it has also happened with a lot of politicians. That's become one of the easiest baits today, apart from the job scam.
And here's what I found amusing. These scamsters are happily sending job offers to Kanishk too.
The level of messaging that comes to me from different sources is enormous. A normal user, a person of my age group, would get so many calls and messages stating that, do you want to subscribe to a job which will let you work from home? So it's just that they have got a list of numbers from telecom service provider. So if you investigate, take the conversations forward, you will find that there are actually people who are sitting behind and they have been trained in a specific manner to answer questions and not reveal information. There are hardcore criminals, or they have certain backing infrastructure. That's why so many numbers which are international are floating around, and they continue to operate and add people. And it is only increasing further. So that's there. So the complexity, the organized nature of this crime has really amazed me.
And when we speak of how this whole thing operates, a lot of these are international numbers, right? How are they getting these international numbers so easily?
So if you have an India number and you want to subscribe to WhatsApp services abroad, you can just buy a SIM outside and share it with anyone. So if I buy any prepaid number and I start using WhatsApp, it might not be on the same number. So you can have voice separately and data separately. So you can register multiple numbers. So a group would typically buy international numbers outside, and instead of using just voice, we would also start using data services. That's becoming one of the key concerns. The other trend that we are seeing is that there are a lot of forums, websites, which offer you to buy SIM internationally through dark web or deep web. That's also becoming a trend. So if you go on the dark web or deep web, there are platforms which offer you to buy maybe 10, 15 numbers, and you can pay the entire thing via some cryptocurrency like a Bitcoin. That's another possibility which is being used. The third trend that we are seeing is that, particularly in Southeast Asia, we have seen that this is being done in an organized manner where people are kidnapped and then they are forced into doing cybercrime, and they have organized groups which are doing it on purposefully. There were people who were kidnapped, IT professionals who were kidnapped in the name of seeking international job opportunities. And then they went to countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, and they thought they will get an IT job, but instead they were forced into doing cybercrime. So you will see a lot of this also originating from Southeast Asia. So it's not just one domestic group, I would say like a Jamtara or a Nu or a Mewat, which is operating, but bulk of criminals operating in this space, which include Nigerian groups and also groups from Southeast Asia.
At a time when all of this was blowing up, WhatsApp had issued a statement saying it continues to provide several safety tools within WhatsApp, like block and report, and proactively weeds out bad actors from its platform. However, it acknowledged that bad actors find different ways to scam users and that international scam calls were the new way that they had recently adopted. WhatsApp spoke about quickly ramping up its AI and ML systems to bring down incidents significantly. A WhatsApp spokesperson said, and I quote, "Our new enforcement will reduce the current calling rate by at least 50%, and we expect to be able to control the current incidents effectively." While the number of instances of such calls might have gone down significantly off late, it begs the question, would merely ramping up AI/ML capabilities be adequate to deal with bad actors? I asked Kanish this.
Given the number of users that get added on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis, just using artificial intelligence and machine learning to draw out the numbers that need to be blocked, that looks really difficult. So for allowing people to use WhatsApp or validating them, there could be better techniques that could be emphasized instead of doing multi-factor authentication. So like when we buy a new SIM, we get a KYC which has been done by the telecom service provider. I think those kinds of measures will have to be put up. So you allow people to authenticate themselves or carry out their KYC so the identities cannot be forged. So I think that's one of the key areas that needs to be developed, or any alternate technologies which help people verify their identity through any record. That's the need of the hour.
So you're saying that in the absence of all that, it becomes very easy to sort of forge identities.
Yes, I can just take a picture of anyone from a social media platform, download it, and use it as my WhatsApp profile. I can appear as that person. There is no way I can stop that from happening. That's one of the biggest issues we face today.
Which is exactly what Kunal told us in the anecdote that we started the episode with. Here's another example from Kanishk.
Recently, I saw that one of the popular doctor, a cardiologist, his Instagram account, the profile was taken and a fake account was created on WhatsApp, and that number was used for asking money, saying that, okay, this cardiologist is in trouble and he's reaching out to his patients to give money. And people actually ended up paying lakhs of rupees to help this person. And that's one of the things. So people who don't have their photographs secured on social media platforms are, subjected to this kind of risk even more.
But when we speak of ChatGPT and this whole sort of hype around AI, right, and how it's going to make it so much simpler for people to write really eloquent messages and so on, from a cybersecurity standpoint, does that concern you? Because that would also mean bad actors can now write very convincing messages about, maybe needing help, like you said, someone in need of help or someone who is promising you a job. So how do you see this whole thing going forward with AI in the picture?
AI, along with chatbots, could run havoc, because instead of somebody typing or texting the message, you could just use a chatbot and communicate with a lot of people on the other side, and they won't even realize that they are not actually talking to a human, but to a machine or to a bot, which is taking them into a fraud or luring them into something which is turning out to be a big cybercrime. So this is one of the biggest issues that we face today. And particularly when you turn text to voice, that concerns also increases further, and vice versa. Hence, laws, norms, or building frameworks to safeguard users is one of the biggest aspects where we need to do work. We also need to build out some ethics on how AI could be used or how to prevent its misuse.
Kanish said there's a global spurt in these kinds of instances.
So job scams are not just happening in India, but also happening in Southeast Asia, also happening in countries like Brazil, because there are more people who are seeking employment opportunities, both part-time, full-time, and freelancing. So that's been the trend. So it's not just India, it's a global trend. So if we talk about United States of America, the cybercrime that has been focused, that has been mainly coming with respect to BPO or KPO based frauds, where people call up to do a KYC check or insurance or a credit card related frauds. When it comes to Europe, the fraud has mainly been they getting calls from developing countries where people are trying to tell them to invest in any cryptocurrency or trading platforms. Cybercrime today is the third largest economy in the world after US and China. And it is only going to overtake these two economies because it is going to grow further because of rapid use of technology, AI and ML coming into the picture, and people finding cybercrime as more of a career opportunity, not just seeking it as a scamming thing.
Okay, so a big global problem and a crying need for stronger rules. Let's talk about solutions now and start at home. What immediate legal recourse do we have?
So Government of India through Ministry of Home Affairs has set up a helpline which is called cybercrime.gov.in. So if you are perpetrated by a cybercrime nationally, instead of going to a local police station or putting an FIR, you can put your FIR on this portal. And this portal will redirect this FIR to your nearest police station to investigate this further. And there have been instances and cases where people have got their money back. Or if they have been lured by any kind of crime, the perpetrators have also been caught. This entire helpline is run through the I4C network of Ministry of Home Affairs, which works with various state police departments for better coordination on cybercrime. Recently, we saw certain raids which happened in the region of Haryana, that was Mewat and Nu, which was coordinated by the MHA I4C division in partnership with Haryana Police, where they conducted a raid across 1,400 villages to find out perpetrators, and where there were more than 5,000 police officials who were involved in this raid. So we've seen there has been a rapid increase in cybercrime, but government is also taking initiatives to tackle this.
Here's what else we can do.
Look, so if you have a WhatsApp number, you could set up a normal account. You could also set up a business account at the same time.
Right.
That's there. And then WhatsApp business messaging is more complex. If people try to block you and report you, your account doesn't go down because you have registered it as a business account. And the main purpose of business account is to market, to advertise. The only way to bring down such accounts is that you not only block and report them yourselves, but you ask a large number of group of friends to do that. It's only then these accounts get taken down. So if you've got 10 to 15 friends in your network, if you ask them, then this will automatically be shown on top of a list, which platforms like WhatsApp collate to take these accounts down. And that's why they apply all the machine learning and artificial intelligence, because the number of users who have reported a particular account increases further. So that increases the chances that's there. Apart from that, I think one of the most important thing is when you communicate with anyone on WhatsApp for the first time, don't assume that person is the original person. When I do communication with somebody, say on WhatsApp, I try and first place a call with them, a regular call. One of the key things that I found that perpetrators who try and send you text messages via WhatsApp or do WhatsApp video or voice call, they don't have the mobile number active. They will never respond to you, and there will always be a sense of urgency stating that this needs to be done on an urgent basis. So those are some of the things that one needs to be careful.
What can and should the government do?
So I think the first and foremost, the government should make these platforms more accountable for the work which they do in India. Now, they've got millions of consumers here, but they need to be made liable and accountable. So the regulations that need to come in, quick. So we have been awaiting a data protection bill for a long time. We've been awaiting laws in telecom to be changed to safeguard users from spammers. We've been awaiting a personal data protection bill, right? Those are three things which are much needed. Those need to be drafted very quickly. So what has happened now is that the data protection bill has been divided into two parts. One is the personal data, and the other is the Digital India Act. So those need to come in quickly. So that needs to be done by the government. Secondly, on the government side, they need to have a central agency look into cybercrime. So we've got CBI, NIA, which are more central agencies which look at crime which impact the larger population or national safety or security, or frauds which impact. So similar agency needs to be created, or existing agency needs to be empowered to tackle cybercrime. So this is no more a matter which is handled by the state police alone, and they end up fighting and entering each other states and territories and informing. So it becomes complex. So that's two on the government side. Third is international cooperation. A lot of crime is not originating from India, but from outside. So how do you build up international cooperation to tackle cybercrime? The MLAT, which is set up through the Interpol, is not just enough. You need a larger mechanism ecosystem to tackle cybercrime. So a global cyber cooperation to tackle cybercrime is much needed right now. So under the ambit of G20 or a G7, this needs to be done. So that's on the government side.
In fact, earlier this month, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, or MeitY, said it would be sending WhatsApp a notice on the issue of spam calls from unknown international numbers. It reiterated that the onus of ensuring user safety lies with the digital platforms. Also, Union Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, said that digital platforms are responsible and accountable for ensuring the safety of digital nagriks, while adding that the government would respond to every instance of alleged misuse or alleged breach of users' privacy. There's also the fact that as per the proposed telecom bill, the government has said it will make it mandatory for the identity of a person sending a message or calling to be visible to the receiver, irrespective of the platform used for communication. And what about platforms? Surely they have a more complex job at hand than just strengthening their AI/ML tools. And that's what I asked Kanishk.
On the platform side, platform get users to sign up. So if let's just look at Meta, you've got Instagram, you've got WhatsApp, you've got Facebook. If you mandate certain level of KYCs, which can operate across these three platforms and verify users' identity, it will make life much easier. That's on Meta, and that could be applied even on Google. That could be applied on all significant social media platforms, which will help safeguard users' privacy, safety. The second part, which I see the platforms must do, is share data. So if you've got a spamster which is operating on, say, Meta as a platform, can that information be made available to Google as well? Do they share data? I don't think so. That's happening right now. Third, the teams which they put together to tackle safety, that needs to increase. So if you pick up any platform, the number of people who are there to safeguard user privacy, what you call as a trust and safety team across these platforms, is relatively low. So they need to increase the number of trust and safety support providers so the request could be responded quickly, not only just to police, but also to users. So that's there. Technology could be used, AI or ML, for better customer service.
There's no taking away from how important WhatsApp has become in all our daily lives. Love it or hate it, no one can think of reverting to sending homing pigeons and singing Kabutar Ja 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 to coax it into delivering one love letter. Come to think of it, this entire episode's coordination, which is centered around WhatsApp, took place on WhatsApp. Meta's instant messaging platform is much more than just that in India. It has become a cultural symbol. Who can forget the term WhatsApp uncles? I mean, they aren't SMS uncles or Telegram uncles or Telegraph uncles. They're WhatsApp uncles for a reason. And if you haven't heard of them, pull out your phone and I'm sure you'll find proof of their existence. Speaking of existence, I know a lot of people say it's a terrible habit, but I do wake up and reach for my phone first thing in the morning. And no prizes for guessing which app I check before anything else. WhatsApp is going nowhere. And no matter where you go or what you do, shall I WhatsApp it to you? Or could you WhatsApp it to me? Is everyone's default setting. And this is something scamsters are very aware of. So it comes as no surprise that they've got their eyes firmly fixed on WhatsApp. The government has a lot on its plate, but maybe fast-tracking the personal data protection bill will go a long way in helping put the safety of user data front and center. Platforms like WhatsApp investing in AI/ML is great, but like Kanish said, there's a lot of nuance that maybe these models would miss out on, for the moment at least. And in order to help with that, maybe platforms too need to invest in people who can understand and flag patterns and protect more users in the process. And for people like you and me, I don't think I could have said it better myself. Here's WhatsApp's own ad campaign that I hope rings in your mind every time you get a call or message.
फ्रेंड ने जो पैसे मंगाए हैं करना उससे पहले वेरीफाई है
वीडियो कॉल से ऑडियो कॉल से
तरह तरह के वॉइस नोट से डीपी से स्टेटस तक लास्ट सीन से इमोजी तक अच्छे से जांच करो ए भाई जरा स्कैम से बचो ए भाई स्कैम का सर्कस है और प्यारे स्कैम ये सर्कस
Thank you Kanishk, Sachin and Kunal. It's Thursday, May 25th. I'm your host, Diya Rekhi, and you've been listening to the WhatsApp Con Call on the morning brief from the Economic Times. A shout out to the team that helped put the episode together. Producer Surohini Jain, sound designer Indranil Bhattacharya, executive producers Anupriya Nair, Anirban Chaudhary, and Arijit Burman. Do like and share this episode and follow us on your favorite podcast platform to make sure you don't miss an episode. The Morning Brief is streaming on Amazon Prime Music and JioSaavn, apart from Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And of course, ET's own audio platform, ET Play. Do tune in to ET Play, our latest platform for all audio content. Thank you for listening in and have a spam call-free day. All clips used in this episode belong to their respective owners, credits mentioned in the description.